I bet you are probably looking at me and being like, what are you doing here? It is Tuesday, okay? I am now going to be giving y'all a full, long story time on Tuesdays, okay? You know what I'm saying? Sorry, my ring light's messing up. Y'all know me. It's not ever going to be perfect, okay? But it's going to be close. But I've decided like I want to start putting out story like in-depth story times on Tuesdays, and I am here for it. I'm hoping this picks up. I think twice a week is just better. So Tuesdays and Fridays, okay? But like I have a story that I want to unpack in front of this camera today, okay? And before I start this, I am not going to be using real names. I am not going to be saying names of any companies or anything like that. So if you think I'm talking about you and you think that you're the problem, you probably were. And I mean, no hate to anybody. The beef is long gone. I have forgiven and forgot all of this. And truthfully, don't care anymore. And I'm truthfully on a better path. But if you think that this is going to hurt your feelings or you're going to try to sue me, you won't be able to. And please click out now because I do still love majority of you. However, okay, so I, as a 16-year-old child, okay, started working at my mom's. Okay, my mom has worked at this place for forever, and I loved this place since I was a child. I've been going there for years. Like, I love this place, okay? Like, I always have. Like, it was just, I knew it was going to be something I was into, okay? So when I was 16, my mom got me a job as like a cleaner there, like the lowest, like it was a temp job, like it was, I was gonna get laid off in a few months, like never thought I was gonna be able to get past this. Like I was literally cleaning stuff for $10 an hour. Like I had the job that everybody was going to want, okay? Anyway, like I absolutely loved it. Like I just cleaned all day, but like I really wanted to get on sales. Like you sold stuff at this thing, and I was like, I have to get on sales. Like this has to be something, okay? Y'all, even though my mom ran this place, there was no nepotism at all. My mother will never nepotize me in a place of a work environment. Let me like tell y'all, like I have paid my bills for forever, and I love her for it because it's made me a more independent person. But like she this woman, when they were going to promote sales jobs, you guys, it was between me and this other girl, and my mom flat out told me one time, like in private, it was because the only reason I got it over the other girl was because the other girl did not have as much a personality as I had. Nevertheless, I was so excited about this job. Like when I tell y'all, when I started cleaning, like I cleaned and I cleaned and I cleaned and I showed every effort to be able to get on sales. Okay, the minute I got on sales, I immediately started training and I immediately started grabbing at it because like I wanted to be this. Like I was studying it, like I was planning it, like I was doing it. Okay, so I get on sales and everything, and let me tell you guys, like I'm just loving life. Like I'm tanning, like I'm doing all of these things, I'm getting paid, I'm buying things for myself, like I'm eating it up, eating it up, eating it up. Okay, so for the next 6 to 8 months, okay, I work. Okay, school every day after school, weekends, girl, you're talking multiple. Eventually that summer I go on to like work between two different stores. I'm working 40 hours a week between all these different stores. Like I'm bouncing everywhere. I end up getting a spot at a location and they're eating me up over there, and eventually I was working a lot and I was killing it, y'all. Like my sales numbers were crazy. Like everybody was like, oh my gosh, like you're just like your mom, you know what I mean? Like my mom was amazing at her job, like amazing. Like y'all, this woman would sell me under the table, and that's crazy. And like I was just doing numbers, you know what I mean? And I eventually, anyway, you know what I mean? Like I went homeschooled and everything, not for the job, but because I only had like 2 or 3 classes. So I eventually just went on to do this job full time. So I started in March. It was probably August. So it was probably like what, 6 to 8 months later. I decide, okay, so one of the managers leaves. The manager of one of our locations decides to move up in that position, and she was like, okay, like, Rylan, I want you to be my co-manager, and like maybe you can get a store and I'll get a store, and like this whole thing, okay? That lasted for 2 weeks. I got promoted to manager immediately and was given my own store. Okay? I got taught to be a manager. I loved it. This was everything I wanted, okay? I had everything I wanted, okay? They eventually like let me off to do my own store. Like I did my own schedule, I ran my own store, I ran my own staff. Okay, let me tell y'all how serious I took it. I literally did every single thing I was supposed to. We had checklist. I would do the checklist over and over just to make sure everything was done. I never failed inspections whenever my bosses would inspect me. But my store was always clean. Like I made sure my girls cleaned. Like I watched camera. Like let me tell you guys, I and everybody who worked at my store absolutely loved me. Like I never had any issues. Like I've never heard anybody talk bad about me, because the other managers and I were like besties, and we would talk about the girls, like be like, hey, like they said this, like maybe you can calm down about this, you know what I'm saying? Like we were always ready to check ourselves if we were like maybe a little too much, because the job at hand wasn't hard, but it was hard for if you weren't like a natural salesperson, which a lot of people aren't, which is no hate. But anyway, like I really worked at it. I really did everything. I gave it my all. And not to mention, like I was at this point full time doing everything. I was the lead salesperson. My store was always doing really well. I always did really well. Like eventually, you know what I'm saying? You can't always do well. Like you're going to have a bad week every once in a good while. Which, you know, maybe that entire year I could probably count I probably had 2 bad weeks that entire year. I'm going to be real. Maybe 3. Okay? 4 if you want to go nuts. Okay, so the busy season, I did everything by myself, you know what I'm saying? But our busy season came around, and I had never been a manager during our busy season. I knew what it entailed, but I guess I didn't know really what it would entail, because we go into our busy season, and that January they're like, okay, we're gonna start opening up the hours, like let's start hiring people. Like I get on it, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm making sure my hours are getting updated, like I'm making sure my schedules are updated. And the scheduling process went from us being on one person a shift to 2 people a shift. Like we had to, but like it was a small business, so you can't just like throw money down the drain like that. You had to like make sure that you had 2 people there during like busy times where like you were really working, and one person there when it wasn't busy. So that was kind of a struggle for me, because my store was so like just not, there was no trends. Like one week one time would be busy, and the next week another time would be busy. So I would try to go off the week before, and I would make my schedules, and eventually I was told they weren't right. I was never explained why they weren't right. You know what I mean? And so my mom kind of showed me how to do them, and she kind of like watched over my schedules. Well, she had to make her own schedule and put herself on the schedule. Like there's a whole thing going on there too. So like eventually we all got our schedules taken from us, so we didn't have any say so in our schedules. Like the times were really crazy. I was under a lot of stress. I was working 40 to 60 hours a week. I was working 12-hour shifts. I was making a bag, but like I was miserable. Okay, like a lot really happened. And you know, February came around, and I had a co-manager at this point. By the way, I was the only manager who, I'm sorry to anybody else, but I was the only manager who had the same staff member for more than 6 months at the time. And I was the only one to have a co-manager going into that busy season, which you have to have a co-manager for the busiest stores, which I also had the smallest but the busiest store. Okay, February comes around, things are falling apart. People were not, February of 2023, the economy really just did bad, and I'm gonna be real with you, we did really bad. We did really bad. Like we kept our numbers up, but like, y'all, let me tell you, it was hard. We literally lost. March was hard too. Like it didn't start getting crazy again till April. We had lost $20,000 by April, and I was shit bricks. Okay, like people weren't happy when they figured out that. So what did I have to do? I had to hurry up and make 20 grand back. And guess what? It took me 3 months, but I did it. I did what nobody else did. My store was the only one who broke their debt. I don't know about that now, but I know like at the time, like I was the only one know who for sure like made more than that within the certain time period when we started losing money again. Because from like I think it was like July or no, like July, like the month after July to December, we don't make money, and like January to the we make money. So like you have to make a certain amount of money to like make it all year. Anywho, eventually after busy season, they come for my co-manager. My co-manager quits. Okay. I was besties with that girl. It was really, really crazy. Come to find out though, she eventually went on to, like, my owner was the one who wanted her gone. Okay. And I was trying to level with her and be like, hey, we need to do this so he doesn't fire you. Okay. And I said that in a very professional way, and I tried to help her. She literally walked out on me 2 days later and eventually came on to say that it was my fault. It's always my fault. Anywho, yeah, so I was just down. I was just down and out. Like, I was just really upset about everything. Like, I just didn't feel happy anymore. Like, I was just not about it. I was just over it all the time. Like, I just didn't want to go to work. Yeah, and then the summer, I'm sorry, but the summer of hell came about. Okay? And I mean that. Because June and July, literally, if we did not sell like 10 or like whatever dollars per person, you would literally get fired. Like, I can name 2 girls on hand that literally got booted because of this reason. Okay? Not even lying. Okay? I'm about the bag, okay? So you know me, like, at this point in time in my life, like, I truthfully did not understand that I did not think it was physically possible for me to do anything outside of this other than the thing that I'm going for, because I'm going to college. Like, this is just the hustle right now to pay my bills and like to pay for college, okay? So I didn't think I could do anything else. Like, I didn't think I could really do anything else. Well, like, June comes around eventually, like things kind of tense up around there. Like, everybody's starting to get mad. Like, a lot of people start quitting. Like, there's crazy things going on. You guys, August rolls around. And I'm just over it. Like, I had put all this work in. I was the top salesperson all year. There was so much going on. Like, my store was one of the top stores that year. I had never failed an inspection. August came around. I've been managing for a year. Doing really great. Like, almost 2 years. My mom puts in her 2 weeks, finishes it out. 3 days later, I get demoted. I had so much stress and there was just so much going on that I lost it. I absolutely lost it, and rightfully so. I feel bad because I was rude to somebody, but I don't feel bad because I was right to set that information out, okay? So at the end of the day, I kind of got over it. I went for a week and tried the no manager life, but it's like I'm getting paid. Like, the reason that I stayed for so long, looking back, is because I was making my own schedule for majority of it, and that's what I liked. The money was not great, but it was good to make your own schedule. Like, it was pretty good money to make your own schedule. You know what I mean? Like, it went hand in hand. So I tried it for a week, and I was miserable. Like, I was so miserable. We kept getting yelled at for things. Like, it was just so much extra work. Like, I had to keep going through people. Like, things that I normally could do, I couldn't do anymore. Like, I had my customers, my cult customers were like, Rylan, like, you're the manager. Like, so, by the way, like, I had like, all of my customers, I can say, absolutely loved me. Like, I had never seen people like bring in their friends, their family, there were moms on baseball fields talking about how their friends were talking about how amazing I am. Like, it really showed me like the kindness that I was showing people, and it made me feel like a really good person after kind of like be having to be who I had to be in high school, which was like not really necessarily not the nicest person at times, because like I kind of had to in high school, like you just kind of have to like you know be the baddie or be the one that's over there getting bullied, you know what I mean? So it was like ugh. But anyway, um a week goes by, my store hits dead last in sales, which never happened under my management. We had no like product on the shelves. Like, there was just so much wrong. I didn't like it. I was miserable. I was the most miserable I had ever been. So I sent an email listing every single problem I had with everything and how the demotion was unfair, because it really was. Like, I pointed out all the cons. And they decide to have a phone call meeting with me. And in the history of my mom working at this company, there has never, ever been a phone call meeting that has went well. Okay, and if you knew how this management was, you would do what I did, okay? So I get on this phone call and I get told things that, by the way, think that's something that kind of does frustrate me still today, which I've kind of forgiven and forgotten, but I will bring it back up. The things that I got demoted for specifically were not told to me until this meeting. I kept asking them what I got demoted for, and they couldn't tell me until this meeting. Not to mention, during this meeting, I got demoted for things that I had gotten raises for, like not even 3-4 months ago. Okay, so like I had all this information on my mind, but if I objected, it would just be met with yelling, and just there wouldn't be any kind of conversation there. There would be no saving it. And that's when the moment I realized, like, I need to go. Like, what was I fighting for? What was I fighting for? I was fighting because I was scared to leave. I didn't know if there was anything out here for me. There's no ill will, there's no hate, there's nothing against anybody. I really wish that my situation was handled a lot differently. I had never done anything wrong. I had outsold my mom. I had outsold my other manager. I had outsold managers at other stores. I had been at their store for 2 days and I would outsell them completely. Like, I never did anything wrong. I truthfully always was a rule follower. Still am in jobs. Like, it's my money. Like, I really am just there to be an amazing person, an amazing, like, a very, like, social, awesome individual. And it really hurts to know that one individual person wanted to take me down and succeeded. You absolutely succeeded, babe. Props to you. You know who you are. Yeah. And there's no beef, there's no hate. I still go to this company to this day and I still use their products and stuff like that. It really does suck though, because I was friends with so many people on the staff, and it was just like after I left, like I figured out how many ops I really had in there. And it really sucked because it was like the first place where I really felt like I didn't have ops. But I feel like now I've learned, like, there's ops everywhere. Like, not everyone's gonna be your friend or family, la la la. But like that place, it really felt like everybody was so much older than me. Like, it was just, I really didn't feel like I had any ops. Like, it was just weird. But I in a much better spot now. I've been at my new job for almost a year, and I absolutely love my new job way more. It pays way more. Like, I should have made the switch a lot longer, but it was a starter job, and I thought truthfully that would have been my job till the end. It was something I was really, really passionate about. I even had a TikTok page dedicated to it where I was getting sent brand deals that I've now rebranded. It was weird. It was truly heartbreaking. it tore me. It really felt like I lost everything because I had worked so hard to get everything that I accomplished there, and like my customer base and how well, like even now when I go to a Walmart, I will see one of a customer or something like that, no matter which Walmart I go to. Because I did the one over here, I did the one over here, like I did the one over here, like I worked at all these stores and I managed two of these stores. And not even mention that, like in that busy season, my first busy season as a manager, I was also doing two stores that I chose to do, but at the same time, you gave them to me. So, I don't know. But anyway, I hope you guys loved the Tuesday story time. And no ill will, no hate. Love you, everybody. Thank y'all for watching, and I hope y'all see me on the next one.